Never eat this in the morning. In this comprehensive video, I'm going to thoroughly tell you all about the 7 absolute best foods for a healthy breakfast, and also the 7 absolute worst, the ones you should definitely avoid eating first thing in the morning. Why is this so important to know? At this time of day, you've just woken up, and there are foods that can really harm your health, and other foods that can help you. I always talk here about natural ways to improve your health, even to prevent many diseases. And this right here is one of the keys, knowing how to choose what to eat first thing in the morning. So there are 7 worst foods to avoid and 7 best ones. Let's get started then and delve into this important topic. First and foremost, the particular food item you absolutely should consider avoiding. And right after that, I'll talk about a beneficial food you can eat that can significantly benefit your overall well being. What food is that? Number one, it's bread with a source of fat. For example, bread with butter, or bread with margarine, bread with some kind of oil. What could actually benefit your health? The same bread. Look, you can see I'm not against bread, right? Here I'm talking about white bread, whole wheat bread, multigrain bread, right? Preferably eat whole wheat or a multigrain bread. But if you like white bread, that's okay too. The point is, it's the same bread, just with a source of protein. It could be with eggs or even, look, bread with a healthy cheese, like ricotta, for example, or bread with shredded chicken. That makes for a much better option. Because in the morning, we truly desire 3 essential ingredients. They are our perfect morning food trio. These crucial components are dietary fiber, beneficial protein, and here we are specifically adding a significant amount of protein, and also healthy fats. Good fats, okay? In the morning, bread with a source of protein, and the worst would be bread with a source of saturated fat. Like in this case I mentioned here, bread with butter, which is the reality for so many people, or grilled bread. That's bread with a source of saturated fat. Understood? You can see here that a lot of people say bread is a forbidden food. Actually, it's the way you eat it that determines that. If I have celiac disease, in that case, you'll have to avoid bread. That's an exception. Population studies have shown that less than 1% of the population has celiac disease. But if you have celiac disease, since here I'm talking to millions of people, then yes, you need to avoid it. You'll have to replace bread with something else. Or if you have a gluten sensitivity, that exists too. The person isn't celiac, but they are sensitive to gluten. In that case, it would also be wise to avoid it. But most people won't have any kind of problem. And yes, it's healthy and won't harm your gut. It's a source of nutrients. If you combine it with the best options I'm mentioning here, it can actually help your health. The second food item you should definitely avoid consuming is highly processed juices, along with sugary chocolate milk drinks and various other beverages that contain high fructose corn syrup. What should you have instead? What are the best options? Coffee, for example. It can be black coffee, but yes, that's an option. Who doesn't like coffee with milk? Right now, I'm in a black coffee phase. I drink a lot of black coffee in the morning. I really like it. And then I want to know about you in your region. Which part of the world are you from? I'm speaking from Porto Alegre. I want to know. Write here and tell me what the most common drink is. But there are also other drinks if you don't like coffee, or maybe just skim milk, or you can have juices with few carbohydrates, like passion fruit juice, lime juice, or even orange juice, natural fruit juice, or grape juice, apple juice. These juices are healthy. You'll get the vitamins. What's the point here where I'm going to put an asterisk? And those last juices I mentioned, apple juice, grape juice, orange juice, they have more carbohydrates. Fruit juice is more concentrated. The fiber is removed, so you're left with juice that's more concentrated in sugars and carbohydrates, with a higher glycemic index than the fruit itself, and also a higher glycemic load. That's because you end up concentrating more fruit in there. This can be a problem if you're watching your blood sugar levels, if you're diabetic, for example, or if you have high triglycerides or fatty liver. In that case, you'll need to go easy on the juices I mentioned here. You'll have to choose either those drinks I mentioned at the beginning or juices with fewer carbohydrates. Or, for example, flavored water is also a very healthy option. But if you don't have any of the conditions I mentioned here, orange juice can definitely be an option. That's why so many people end up confused. Oh, but I saw a video of a doctor saying that orange juice shouldn't be consumed because it has a lot of fructose, a lot of concentrated fruit. It will only be a problem if you have some issue with sugar metabolism or if you're accumulating fat in your liver, for example, high triglycerides. In that case, yes, you'll need to avoid it and stick to the top options on the best drinks list. Deal? I really like orange juice. I probably have it 2 or 3 times a week. So let's keep going with our list here, which brings us to number 3. Which food should you avoid? And this one is very common: sugary cereals or cereal bars. Those cereals with a sugar coating, processed cereals. What should you choose instead here? Another healthy option? Other grains. You can add chia, flaxseed, you can add other seeds, or even sugar free granola. Or oatmeal. Oatmeal is definitely very healthy. The same thing I said about orange juice applies here. If you have diabetes, you should go for other grains because oatmeal is still a source of sugars, of carbohydrates. But if you don't have any issues with sugar, oatmeal is definitely a good option to start your day, okay? That's why so many people get confused. Wait, is oatmeal bad? No, it's good. But then there was another video where the same doctor who's talking now said that oatmeal was bad, but that was a video specifically for diabetics. Let's understand the point of this video, okay? I really like oatmeal too. Lately, I've been eating more chia seeds, more flaxseed, but now I'm in an oatmeal phase, so I usually eat it about 3 times a week as well. Oatmeal can help improve things. It contains beta glucans that help with your lipid profile. It can raise your good cholesterol. So yes, it's an excellent option. It's worth swapping out sugary cereals for unsweetened ones. Agreed? And number 4, another extremely common food you should avoid is processed meats like salami, hot dogs, and sausage, which are very common in some regions. For breakfast, for example, hot dogs. So you need to avoid these foods right in the morning. They're already harmful, and if you add them in the morning, it just makes things even worse. I honestly hope you never eat them. It's really best to avoid these completely, okay? Because they contain preservatives, nitrates, and nitrites, which have been linked to an increased risk of intestinal cancer, colon cancer, okay? So it's really worth avoiding them altogether. And now, what other source of protein can you add? Eggs, for example, scrambled eggs, boiled eggs, or fried eggs without oil. It's important to emphasize that. Let me point out here that if you're going to eat eggs, it's better not to add oil. So it's worth eating eggs either in a non-stick pan or steamed, something like that. Prepare them in a way that doesn't add another source of fat, because eggs already have protein sources. You saw that they're excellent in the morning, but they also have healthy fats. Another great point, another excellent nutrient for breakfast. They really provide healthy fats, not to mention that eggs can also help your brain and your vision. They have B complex vitamins. Eggs are excellent, one of the best foods in the world. If you eat them in the morning, you'll get a really good benefit. I also really like eggs, so choose eggs and avoid those processed meats, bacon, okay? Processed meats first thing in the morning. A lot of people might find it strange that I'm talking about processed meats in the morning, but you have to understand that I'm speaking to people from all over the world here. Well, there are viewers from many different countries, a lot of countries. Yes, it's common to eat processed meats first thing in the morning. Very common, okay? The 5th food you should avoid is flavored yogurts. And here, a lot of people think these yogurts are healthy. Strawberry yogurt, for example. It's better for you to choose plain yogurt. Well, yogurt that doesn't have any flavor. And from that plain yogurt, even better if it's Greek yogurt because it has a higher amount of protein. And if you're gonna have yogurt, choose the fat-free version. That way, you cut out the fats and get more protein in your diet, right? You can add that in, along with what I mentioned about our trio: fiber, healthy fats, and protein. You can add a bit of chia to your yogurt, for example, or a little flaxseed. Personally, I prefer chia in my yogurt. So it's a really healthy combination. You see, having a healthy breakfast, a healthy start to your day, is actually very easy. You just need to have the knowledge and know how to make these choices. And the 6th food you should avoid is fruit jams, strawberry jam, or even peach jam, apricot jam, it's better for you to avoid them. All right? Why? Many have added sugar, and others are natural, but they also have a higher concentration of sugar, the fruit's own sugar, and without the fiber. In other words, without that benefit I mentioned, right? Without any of the nutrients from our three pillars. So, what should you use instead? What's the sixth best food? It's fruit. You can eat the fruit itself. And here I'm talking about guavas, red fruits, strawberries, cherries. You can eat oranges with the pulp. You can eat plums. You can eat peaches. You can have fruit with your breakfast, all right? So, what's the issue here? Some people, like diabetics, for example, are watching their blood sugar levels. In that case, yes, you'll need to be careful with some of these fruits, like bananas, grapes, dried fruits, and mangoes. These fruits have a higher carbohydrate content and a slightly higher glycemic index than the others I mentioned here. But if you don't have any issues, then yes, you can eat fruit and it brings great benefits. Vitamins and minerals will help your health. And diabetics can eat them too, all right? You just need to take the precautions I mentioned here. Deal? You've probably heard that the fructose in fruit is bad for your health. Well, that's not true. It's a big lie. That's a myth, okay? What's harmful is an excess of fructose. If you eat 30 or 40 bananas a day, for example, but that's not the case. No one's going to have a problem from eating 2 or 3 guavas a day. Yeah, or eating a banana or having an orange with pulp every day. We're doing well because fruit is healthy. Now, if someone has a metabolic issue, then they need to be a bit more careful and test things out to see which fruits will best fit into their routine and diet. Deal? I really like bananas. I really like melon, grapefruit, even for diabetics. I really like papaya. I really like dragon fruit. I really like strawberries and raspberries. These are fruits that I eat every day, okay? Because they're excellent for your health. Number 7. And the very last food item that I truly want to draw your special and particular attention to is, without a doubt, foods with a significant amount of added sugar. Cakes, for example. Right in the morning, this can really harm your metabolism. Stuffed cookies or those buttery cookies that a lot of people are used to eating in the morning. In this case, it's really worth avoiding them. I suggest you swap them for foods without sugar. And what is the 7th? The best food for breakfast? I'm going to add here a source of healthy fats, which also contains selenium and zinc, which are nuts. So macadamia nuts, walnuts, Brazil nuts, cashews, they're all good for your health. You just have to be careful because they're very high in calories. So consuming these nuts I mentioned in moderation can really benefit your health, making you feel fuller, providing healthy fats that can help raise your HDL cholesterol and protect your heart. So, by avoiding these foods that are sources of added sugar and also individualized foods, if you've made it this far, what rating would you give this video? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you liked it and found this video useful, then subscribe and turn on notifications so you'll always be notified when I post. Now, I'm going to leave a suggestion for you to watch. It's a video where I talked about colon cancer. Would you know how to recognize the first signs and symptoms of colon cancer? Did you know that it can be prevented? There's a test that can even prevent you from getting cancer. Look how interesting. If you click here, you'll be taken to the video where I talk more about colon cancer. Don't miss it. Take care.